there is nothing better as a parent than to witness like children's milestones as they grow up. And I think two of the best ones are when they learn to read and when they learn to ride a bike. Like, it is the most amazing feeling. You see your kid do this thing. I mean, I don't know how teachers teach kids to read. Thank you so much for doing it, because I can't and I never could. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But then when they learn to ride a bike, man, it's like, wow, like you're so proud. And what I've found with my kids, and I'm sure it's similar to yours as well, like they're not going to do something before they're ready. They're just not. And if you push before, then it's not going to work. But if you let them come to it on their time, then they're just going to wake up one day, put that foot on that pedal, and they're going to go. And it's like that for us too. Like eventually you're going to have to go out on a limb. Eventually you're going to have to wobble a bit, but get on that bike and push off. But sometimes you're called to rest. And sometimes you're called to go. And you can't be afraid. And that was my son this past weekend. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, my girls come in and they're like, Mommy, he's riding his bike. And I'm like, what? And there he went. After months of not even wanting to try. Like zero desire. And this came after, Daddy was out of town several days. And, we're looking for things to do. And all of a sudden my son's like, Mommy, let's do the yard. And I'm like, this sounds like a terrible idea, because I'm the one that's going to end up doing this, because you're going to lose interest or like do it for 1 second or run over a tree or whatever, So of course that's what happens, and we get going and we're in the backyard. I'm like, fine, we'll do the backyard, because y'all, I mow grass about as good as I cut hair, okay? Like, we'll get the job done, but it ain't going to look great. And it should, because my papa was a barber, so you would think that that would just be like flowing through my blood. It doesn't. It's not. So whether it's a head of hair or a blade of grass, like, watch out. But anyway, I can still get it done. I can't weed eat, I can't edge, but I can mow. So here we are, we're doing the thing, and I'm like, we'll just do the backyard, because no one can see me and no one's judging me. So we do the backyard, and then he's like, well, we got to do the front. And I'm like, fine. So we go to the front. Of course, no one's looking at me. No one's around. It's like a ghost town on this Saturday afternoon. And we mow the front yard. And I'll say what my son said right after he learned to ride his bike. He said, I got my nerves out. Mommy, I got my nerves out. He was afraid. But then he did the thing and he was no longer scared. Where are you hiding? What are you hiding from doing? Are you hiding out in your backyard because you're afraid to move to the front? Are you hiding in the back, afraid of putting yourself out there? Where are you holding back? Think about what you could accomplish. Think about soaring on that bike, but instead you're complacent and still in a place that's not near as fun. I have an awesome planner, and for March 1st, we're in a new month. Praise God, so many opportunities, so much possibility. It says a comfort zone is a beautiful place, but nothing grows there. Or something like that. But what an amazing sentiment. Yeah, it feels good. You know where you are. You know what you're doing. You're comfortable there. But you're never going to get better. You're never going to grow. You're never going to push yourself to learn a new skill. So yeah, when I was mowing the front yard, I actually did see a girl that knew me, and she rode by with her baby and was like, oh, you're mowing your own grass? And I was like, today I am. Look at me gaining new skills. I'm a continuous learner. May not be good, but I'm doing the thing. Get your nerves out, people. Where are you holding back? God didn't make you to play small. He made you to be great. And I love Father Mike. He said the other day in a homily, we can't drift to greatness. We have to be on purpose. Live intentionally. And just recently he was talking about, Lent is upon us. Lent starts on Wednesday, depending on when you listen to this. It's the 40 days leading up to Easter. And he talked about how this is a time of training. Like we're working towards a specific goal. One that might make us a little uncomfortable. So we might have to give something up. We might have to fast from something. We might have to do something that requires more effort from us in our prayer. We might have to give of ourselves, of our time, of our money, almsgiving. A lot of that doesn't feel comfortable, but it's growing us. It's preparing our hearts. It's getting our nerves out in a way. We can take this time to grow ourselves, to live on purpose, knowing that Jesus is going to redeem the whole world. He already has. But we celebrate that he does that again and again, day after day, and that he rose from the dead. He walked the hardest path that anyone will ever walk in this life. The suffering he endured for us, out of love for us. And we get to prepare our hearts for that. So he talks about exercise versus training. We're entering this time of training. You know, it's funny. 10 minutes in the morning, that's all I have to do a quick jog, a fast walk, whatever. I put my kids on the bus, I put one on the bike, and then I follow her to school. It's not creepy, it's cool. I'm a parent, that's what we do. My morning walk. Make sure my kid makes it to school. That's all I have, 10 to 12, 15 minutes max. And I always see this one mom friend, and she's sees me running every day. She's like, are you training for a marathon? And I'm like, yeah, if the marathon is 0.3 miles long and has a restroom nearby and multiple water breaks. No, I'm not. Thank you for thinking that, though. Thank you for that perception. No, I'm not training towards something. But that's a difference. I'm merely exercising, right? Which is great. But there's a difference between exercising and then working towards something specifically. You're training for something. And that's what Father Mike was talking about. Training your heart for Lent and Easter upcoming. So I don't know what that has to do with my son learning to ride a bike and me mowing the front yard, except that life is so good and we've been given so much. And Lent is a time of remembering all that Jesus did for us. So if you're like me, you've probably been feeling a little scattered lately. Your mind's in a million different things. You have 1,000 things going on. You've got multiple kids and multiple activities. Life's just a little crazy. Let's just take this time to zone in, to focus, to be quiet, to be still. Let's give ourselves the opportunity to hear what God's saying. My pastor always says this time of year that God is screaming at us in whispers, like the little blooms of a plant. Trees that were dead all winter are finally starting to bloom again. Like God's showing us over and over, like redemption's coming, like growth is coming. These wonderful possibilities, this beauty is coming out of this cold and dark and long winter season. Maybe it's been a real long, cold and dark season for you. But spring is coming, Easter is coming, but we got to work our hearts in preparation for that. So I'll be praying for you guys. Know that I always am. I'm thinking of you. Thanks for listening to this smorgasbord, to this pinball all over the place podcast today. But I love you, and you are good, created on purpose, so go live it. See ya. Peace, homies.